Hello everyone. So it was a big day. Well, yesterday for me at night. For the US probably it was today morning. It's a huge announcement that OpenAI came with. We were expecting that. So O1 as a model, we were expecting it to come out anytime now. On X they were talking about it all the time, but it came with a bunch of stuff that we didn't expect. At least I didn't expect. So what I'm gonna do today, I will take you quickly through the announcement, what came with it, and then we're gonna go and test O1. And hey, if you're new to this channel is all about AI and technology. I try to help you build systems as a non-technical person myself, share my learning journey, help you do the same. And if you find this video useful, you get value out of it, please consider subscribing to this channel. Write a comment in the comment section to interact with me, be part of the community. And with this, let's get started.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. The mic.
So yesterday I found out about this when I looked at my X account, and I found lots of people talking about this, and OpenAI actually with a tweet of their own that they mentioned the 12 days of OpenAI. And Sam Altman was claiming that this is something never done by a tech company. They're going to be basically shipping something every day for 12 days. And the first day was the big drop of O1 model and other stuff. So that really is a nice way of marketing. It just got me at least intrigued of what's to come. Today I'm already seeing from some of the OpenAI accounts that today's announcement, so the second day drop, is something maybe more for developers. They mentioned it's something that not the vast majority will benefit from, just a unique number of people who probably are developers into a niche maybe. So we don't know what it is. So it's going to be an exciting 12 days leading to Christmas. So Merry Christmas in advance if you're celebrating that. And the way they put it is very nice. So it looks like a Christmas tree. And moving forward, you can see day one is there, and they're mentioning O1 and the ChatGPT Pro, which will cover what Pro is. This is a new tier of membership. And I assume this link, which I will add to the description, will have every day the announcement that they make that day added here. So if you want to keep referring to this link, it might be helpful for you to track everything that they drop in the next 12 days. So I don't know, it might get me to be really busy in the coming couple of weeks just covering the updates that OpenAI are sharing with us. So they had a video that you can find on YouTube, and they put it on X as well, where they go through the announcement, they test the O1 model, they discuss the new tier and everything about it. Short video, good, go watch it. I will not show it here on the channel, but very interesting. And here they covered the new tier that they dropped, which is interesting. Something that they call the ChatGPT Pro. I'll go for it in a second. And if you didn't get the news already, probably you're going to get shocked. And then the O1 system card, which is basically a paper about the safety in developing the O1 model and how they actually did that to make sure it's a safe model. And they introduced something called the red teaming insights. So I think this is a way for people to test, to ensure the safety of the model. I didn't go into that. It's not my thing. Just it might be interesting for you to know about this. So they care about safety. They're very obvious about it. They're very intentional about it. They're letting people know that they're doing everything they can to make sure that this model is safe for the public use. Okay, moving on, we go to the introduction of ChatGPT Pro. And this is basically a new tier for a whopping $200 per month. And we'll go to the actual tiering to see the comparison between it and other things. So that was a shocker, I think, to many people. 200 is a stretch, but it comes with a generous offer, which is unlimited access to models like GPT-4 O1, and the advanced voice model. So all of these models, if you decide to pay for this tier, will be available for you on unlimited basis. You can use it as much as you need, as much as you wish. So for some people that might make lots of sense. Be aware that that excludes the API, which to my knowledge is still not available for the O1 model or the O1, what they call O1 Pro model, which we'll also talk about in a second. So let's move on to what they included in this page. So the first thing is they included, again, some of the benchmarks. So this is compared to both O1 and O1 Preview, O1 Pro. So these are the three ones they included in the benchmark. So the three versions of O1 basically. What they say here is O1 Pro mode performs better on challenging machine learning benchmarks across math, science, and coding. Again, the advantage or the difference between O1 Pro and O1 is that O1 Pro will have further computing abilities. So it will have certain scaling. I don't know if that's the right term, but you can use higher computing than the standard offering in the Plus account for the O1 model. So you can somehow push it more to do more reasoning for you in more complex problems that you're trying to solve. Now, does that actually justify $200 per month? You'll be the judge of that. I thought seriously about actually upgrading to the Pro model for a month. I don't need it. I know I don't need it, but I thought about upgrading to showcase it. It's a lot of money. So I said, I'm just going to go with the Plus. I'm going to wait for other people to actually do that, because some people will do it for the long term because they believe they need it and see how it performs, at least see their work in reviewing it. But basically, if you see here, this is O1 Preview on the far left. In the middle, it's O1 that we're going to review today, and O1 Pro mode is the far right one, which we're not going to review, unfortunately, on this channel, on this video. And you can see here, at least in the competition math, the difference is considered maybe significant, definitely huge between O1 Preview and O1. But then, okay, there's a good amount of improvement from O1 to O1 Pro mode. Again, for me, for my use cases, how I use ChatGPT or how I might use the O1 model will not justify paying $200 for such improvements. When it comes to code, apparently O1 is way better than O1 Preview. We're going to see that as well today. But even with the O1 Pro, it's not nearly negligible type of improvement here. PhD level science questions. So again, all of them very close to each other. I think whoever upgrades to the O1 Pro mode is someone who wants to use the model with no limitation. It's less about the capabilities of the model. Maybe that's a cherry on the top, but it's just the unrestricted access to the model at all times. So I think that's the biggest win for people who decide to put the money. And honestly thinking, if you pay $200 for a model, in theory, you should be making money out of it to justify that amount, or you just have deep pockets and you just enjoy using such a model. So again, I will not go to the details of these benchmarks. They go through them and they cover those, by the way, on the video that I mentioned when we started this video. So you can go there, watch that, hear Sam and his staff talk about it. So that's interesting. They have some grants, which is, you can call it generous from them, for healthcare or some researchers to basically give them the model, I would assume for free. So let's go quickly to the system card. So this is just the safety topic. I will not spend a lot of time on this, but if you're interested, if safety is your thing, you want to see what they're talking about when it comes to red teaming and these kind of concepts, you can just come to this page. I'll include the link in the description, and you just click the O1 system card where you can go and actually read through step by step the technical part and the concepts that are behind ensuring that this model is safe. And let's go to the pricing that we talked about already. But here you can see you have the two tiers that we had before, free, plus. Obviously, plus has a variant of Teams, but then we have Pro. So if you're on Teams, you cannot upgrade to Pro. I think this will come later, but if you're Plus, you can do upgrade. And this is 10 times the monthly fee that you pay for the Plus. And what they say here is it has everything in Plus: unlimited access to GPT-4 and O1, unlimited access to advanced voice, access to O1 Pro mode, which uses more compute for the best answers to the hardest questions. So I would say you can run a query on the O1 model at, I don't know, technically is it a container or something, but basically they will dedicate some kind of computing power for you when you are using that model, so you'll get better results. Does it justify it? That's a question for you to answer. I saw many people excited to do it online. It doesn't make sense for me. I don't use it for such complex problems. Having access to O1 by itself is a stretch for me. And I'm not sure if the limitations for Plus users is the same we got when it comes to O1 Preview. I tried to search online. I only found this, which I think refers more to the O1 Preview. But basically it says you get 80 messages every 3 hours. This is for O, and then 40 messages every 3 hours for GPT-4. Okay, this is the old, don't think anyone's using it. And then if we go to the O1 preview, we get 50 messages a week. So I'm not sure if this is the same limit that we will have with the O1. I assume going forward, it will increase by itself. So even today, I don't see it as a problem, at least for me. But if it's a problem to you, but not that big of a deal, I would wait. Maybe with time, they're going to increase that limit. So you wouldn't just pay $200 is lots of money to pay on monthly. Actually, $200 is my whole subscriptions I have to run this YouTube channel and other things. So probably I cannot afford it. But for others, if you make money out of it, or you have a very laser focused use case that no other model, no other scenario can help you address, well, that's your thing, then it's worth your money. Okay, so with this, I will go to testing the O1 model. So I've created with Claude of all models, the enemy, let's call it, of OpenAI, some problems for O1 model to solve. I didn't want to just use any benchmark. I wanted to do my own thing. And basically, I was asking it to create things that are possible for a model like O1 to solve, but not impossible. So I don't want an impossible thing, but definitely something that will be challenging for any large language model, multimodal AI model to solve. And I put together 4 problems and we'll go quickly through them. So the first one is a type of cryptography type of problem. And I'll read it. We'll go to O1, we see how it reacts, and we'll go to the next one. And then at the end, I'm going to give you my impression on this amazing model. I'm excited about it, clearly. And what we see in the rest of the weeks or 2 weeks of drops and shipments by OpenAI. I hope one of those days, by the way, is Sora. Let's see. So the first prompt I'm going to give to ChatGPT O1. In a post-apocalyptic world, scientists discovered that ancient humans left a message encoded using DNA-based pairs, A, T, C, and G, as a cipher. The message is so-and-so, this is a wrong message. The key to decoding it lies in these rules. Each group of 3 bases maps to either a letter or number. The mapping follows a modified genetic code table. Some groups are the decoys. The real message contains a location. There's a mathematical pattern in valid base triplets. So it's very hard for me to judge, honestly, this one, but I felt it's interesting at least to showcase if actually there's a solution behind it. I didn't try to get a solution from the Claude. I didn't want to influence that. I just wanted a problem, because if I ask it for a solution, at least within the same prompt, it might simplify it. So let's see if O1 will get this. So if you go, by the way, to your interface, I hope you can see my interface clearly here. I just made it bigger so you can see it much clearer on the screen. You will see if you go to the drop down of the models, you're going to see now O1 uses advanced reasoning and nothing else. No O1 preview anymore. And if you invest money and go to the Pro tier of the membership, you will see the O1 Pro mode. It will be a different set here that you can select. So let's select O1, let's paste the prompt, and let's hit go and see how it solves, hopefully, or maybe not, this cryptography type of problem. And by the way, they show you in the announcement of the model that it's nearly twice the speed of O1 preview. So it's definitely much smarter. It can reason much better, but it's twice the speed as well. So that's a good thing. So if it's taking time like this one is, means this is a good problem that I just gave it. Wow. Okay. So definitely a tough one, clearly, because even with the speed up of O1, it took it 1 minute, 59 seconds to try to solve it and give a response. Now, kudos to Claude on giving such a tough problem. So let's go through it. So basically, it's breaking the message into codons. The message has 36 bases long, is 36 bases long, which makes 12 codons of 3 bases each. Okay, so it looked at them, it split them basically. You can see the splitting here between each one. And then it went to the standard genetic code approach for starting point, and it took every one of them and gave it the code that or the letter that it represents. Okay, so it gives a raw amino acid sequence of IRLKPNAIRTRY. Okay, looking for patterns in the amino acid sequence, we have okay, so it's repeating the same. Some observations: there are several R's and I's repeated. The sequence doesn't form an obvious word. The puzzle states each group of 3 bases maps to a letter or a number. Some are decoys. The real message contains a location. There is a mathematical pattern that identifies valid triplets. Without a given modified genetic code table, we need a pattern to separate real from decoy codons. Possible mathematical pattern to filter codons. So it's giving that pattern that it could be potential to solve it. Okay, let's try simple numeric encoding: A equals 0, C equals 1, G equals 2, and T equals 3. Then the sum of the codon value. Okay, so it went through it and it highlighted some as prime, some as none, I assume. Prime sums occur at codons, so the numbers. These are the codons, okay, which is RLKNIT. And that gives, okay, this word, that this doesn't immediately look like a location. Let's try another. Okay, so it's trying a different approach here, and Italy. Okay, so here it says selecting a subset that forms a recognizable place name. The final hint: the real message contains a location. The location might be a city or a country or a famous site. Let's see if we can form a known place names from letters we have, which is this. Okay, and potential famous places. So it's looking at, based on the logic it put forward and the letters it got, what could be a location within that. And again, remember there's decoys within this code, or cryptography. So number 1 is Italy. Okay, so it gives the logic why Italy, and then verifying Italy could be an intended answer. Italy is clear recognizable location, so it's a country. The puzzle might expect solvers to realize some codons are decoys, and that rearranging certain resulting letters reveal a known place. Conclusion: so basically its answer to this riddle is that it's Italy. Now, I don't know enough about genome for me to judge this, or whatever it did here. It seems it thought hard to come up with a solution, but also it seems that when it ended up with a number of letters, it just tried to pick up the closest, at least, combination that makes a country, which was Italy, and discard everything else. Definitely a tough question, I think, just by the time it took it to reason through it. So that's just an interesting. I have no way to judge this. As we go forward, probably it will be easier to judge, I hope. So let's go for the next one. So the next one, I think it's a relevant type of riddle. It's very interesting. So basically, you are an AI system in a hospital that must create an optimal treatment order for 5 patients. You must make ethically sound decisions considering these factors for each patient. So we have 5 patients. Each of them will have a survival probability, years of life gained if treated, number of dependents, resource consumption, so how much resources it will take, and it's quantifying it by unit regardless of what type of resource we're talking about, treatment cost, and then a societal impact. So school teacher impacts 100 students yearly. So it's an ethical question, ethical reasoning type of question. So if you have 5 people, and I just looked at it quickly before the video, and we're talking about needing 12 units of resources, and we have 8 available. So if you want to prioritize or shuffle things in a way to try to save the 5, and you might not actually get to save all of them, how would you go about it? So let's copy this whole prompt with the information of the 5 patients, and then at the end there is some kind of rule set for the O1 to go about when it does this problem, which is maximize overall benefit to society, minimize harm, respect individual autonomy, ensure fairness, and avoid bias. So it's an interesting, weird kind of test that Claude gave me for O1. It seems it really hates O1. So let's check how it will react with this problem and how it might or might not solve it. The answer definitely is something that maybe we can judge, but it's very interesting for me to see it. So it told me it finished thinking and it didn't generate a response. So that's weird, maybe because I used the same window. So let me open a new chat window with O1 selected and again paste the same problem of the 5 patients and send it to O1 to see how it will treat this problem. That is interesting. So again, it says it's finished thinking, but I do not see a response. I will try to, shall I try a third time? I'm not sure. So actually, let me give it a third try. And then if it fails, it fails. I don't think it's the problem issue. I think it's just the system. Maybe there's lots of load. Maybe lots of people are trying to use the model as we speak. But let me give it a third try. And let's hope that, the third time is the charm here. And let's send it to O1. Let it try to hopefully solve it or at least give a response this time, even if it fails. Because I've seen some people, even the ones using the O1 mode, get these kind of messages. Either it couldn't solve it, a certain problem, or in certain ways where there is some things around, again, safety. So some people asking for a graphic type of story, it doesn't give it. But this one, it looks to me like a system thing. So it couldn't do it. It didn't do it. Okay, so we're going to skip that. What I will do is I'll include the link for this Google document in my description. If you have access to the O1 Pro mode, or you want to try the same problems on your own, on your O1 or O1 Pro, please do so. But I beg you, if you get a response for this one, write me a comment in the comment section with the response from the O1 model. I'm going to definitely test it later on, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to carry on. So the third one is a coding problem. So this is creating a smart traffic flow optimization challenge. So it's a traffic flow of cars. It has rules. It's a city grid. It gives it like certain vehicle behavior, traffic light system, visualization. It is definitely something that doable, but something if you go and use things like cursor, whatever the AI agent you use for coding, I don't think any of them can get it from the first go. And the way I'm going to judge this, I'm going to see if it actually gets it from the first go or not, or what's the form that we get from the first run we have with this challenge. And this is how we're going to judge it. So if it does something, is it as good? If we don't, well, we don't. So let's see how that works. So it just details the design of such program or app, and it gives it a technical requirement and then the success criteria. So it's telling it in the prompt, you succeed if you achieve 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So again, let me copy it, go back to O1. What I'm going to do this time, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to refresh the page and then I'm going to go to a new. So this request was flagged as potentially violating our usage policy. So now after refreshing, I got this. Please try again later with a different prompt. So this is the safety thing, I guess, because it has 5 patients and we're trying to save them, make those kind of ethical decisions. It actually refused. I think this is too much. It's oversensitive as a model. I think they should allow such a, I'm just giving it a hypothetical, ethical type of decision-making scenario. It's not real life. It could happen maybe at one location in the world in real life. It's just interesting to use such a model for reasoning of these scenarios. Maybe someone wants to, kind of simulate these kind of situations and how people might react and how the best approach is on scientific basis, on numbers basis. It would be interesting, but again, this is the reason it wasn't working. It's failing because of exactly it's being flagged as violating the usage policy. And by the way, it's a very kind of red line thing. If you buy the 200 Pro tier, like you have to really commit to using it the right way and do not violate this usage policy. I don't know if it's in red. This is just like a flag for me. Be careful, don't do it a lot. I'm not sure if, I try many times the same thing, if I will get blocked or anything. No one's talking about that. It's just me speculating because they stress it. If you go to the tiering, you're going to see it, how clear it is put out for the users before they actually upgrade to that tier. So let's go for a new window. Let's give it this coding challenge now. And let's try to get an application. We're going to move it over to Replit and run it there to see what we get in terms of a visual. Seems it just went for it. Before diving into writing a code solution, I want to ensure I fully understand the scope. Okay, so it's asking some questions. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these questions, go to Claude and ask Claude, which created the actual prompt, to answer it, and then I'll come back here and push the answers. So I got the answers from Claude. Again, this is, I'm not going to read and spend time, waste your time reading the prompt. I'm going to have the link for that document there. You can read it yourself. You can play with it and try it for yourself. The interesting thing here is that without me prompting it to ask me question, it did ask questions. And this is something I think it's long due by now, where we get models that have enough reason that they, without being prompt, they ask questions about the request, so they get clarification before you get a response. So that's an interesting thing I just thought to mention here. And I will paste the answers from Claude, which is just how do you want the layout, things around the frames per second, all of these things that I included in the initial prompt. It's just answering all of those. I'll push it to 01 again, and we'll see what we get out of that. Thanks for these detailed specifications. This level of clarity helps a lot. Before I move forward with an implementation plan and start coding, I want to confirm a few points, okay, and gather any additional preferences. Okay, so let me copy this. It might be getting it to be more complex. I'll get the answers again for these clarifications from Claude, and I'll come back here. Okay, so I got the answers. I think it tells you it's a little bit complex because it's actually asking twice for clarification. Another explanation for this, the response I just got from Claude might have had a question. I made sure there's no questions in this response. So hopefully with this clarification, O1 will go straight into coding. So let's see how that works out. So I'm getting a response here. Okay, and now we have code. So this is a code example. Okay, I don't know if that's good enough. So it's giving constants, giving details. Okay, so it's throwing out the whole thing. And okay, let's see, still working out. So I'm gonna wait until the whole coding is complete, move it to Replit, and we're gonna test it together. So I will run it live with you, at least when I'm recording this video, so you can see in real time how it performs. Okay, so it's done. So it created a long code file or code base. So let me take the code, I'll copy it here. I created a Python REPL on Replit. So I'll just hit paste. So I have 549 lines of code, and I can hit run, and let's see what we get. Here goes nothing. So let's hit run. It will start installing the dependencies. Might take some time, but once it runs, we'll look at how it looks and we can make a judgment. So in theory, we should be seeing some kind of a traffic, cars moving with some visuals. Okay, let me open it in a different tab. I don't think it's... So first of all, it's working without any errors. So that's a good thing. Let's put it in full screen. And I don't know, these are the traffic lights, smart traffic flow optimization. I don't see any kind of vehicles here. So there's a heat map. So let me click space, says press space. Okay, nothing happened when I pressed space. Okay, so I can put it on and off. I can see it reacting. So vehicle count is 0. Average journey time is not there. So let me actually do one more time. It might take more of your time. Let me ask it to show the vehicles. I don't see any vehicles. So I'll just go back. Actually, let's do this because now we can actually attach things to O1. So let's take a screenshot, share it with the model, tell it this is what we got. There is no vehicles showing, and see what we get before we move to the last challenge for O1. So I took a screenshot back into O1. I'll paste it. So this is the screenshot here. So I kept the prompt simple. This is what I got on Replit, but I see no vehicles. And when I press space, I don't see heat map as nothing changes. Let's push that to O1 and see what we get as a response. Just do a second try and see if it nails it. Looking at the details of the prompt, I would have expected more. But okay, we can say this is, to a certain extent, is a success. This is complex. I don't think any other application would have done it from the first go, error-free, even at that simple level that looks like it, at least on the screen for us when we run the code. Okay, so I got the response. Let's go back to the main.py. Let us minimize for a second, stop the application, delete all the old code, paste the new one, which is less code actually. Interesting. And then let's run it again and see what we get. Oh, and now we have cars. It's interesting. So let's just watch it for a second. And you know, again, this is not just a coding problem. It's also some kind of logic and sequence problem. So we're getting a traffic jam here. Okay, now it's clearing out. So is this an accident? Cars are piling here. It's interesting. It's a simulation. Let me press space and see if I get like a heat map. No, that's not. Oh, now we have a heat map as well. So that's interesting. So the heat map is showing where we have congestion, where things are clearing out. I assume you'll have to read the prompt in detail to really get it. I don't think it's getting it 100% spot on. You can see here we have a big problem here. So anyways, you know, I think it's definitely shows something that I think if we try it, I will not do it today. I'm sure others will do these kind of tests. If we try it with 4.0, with Sonnet, I think the real test will be against Sonnet 3.5 version 2. Okay, now let's go for the final, which will be interesting because this time I will use the attach file. We used it for, you know, trying to get a better version of the simulation. But now I'm going to use it for it to solve a problem. So I looked at Reddit. I wanted now a really human problem. So on Reddit, I found this kind of visual that people showed. And basically, you have to pass from this point where you enter to where you exit without crossing two colors like in sequence. So you have to, for example, go through red, blue, red, blue, and so forth. You'll have to do it in a way that you can leave here. And I found the solution again on Reddit, and apparently lots of people were trying and took them time to solve it. So I already downloaded that. Forget about the error we see here on the screen. So let's go for the model. Let's attach the image. So I attach the image, and the prompt is very simple this time. See attached riddle and describe for me a solution or a track that I can trace on image to solve it. And we'll hit go and we'll see how it will solve it. Okay, it took it 20 seconds and we have an answer. So if you go to the possible step-by-step route, hypothetical, start from the bottom, begin at, so I have a solution. So we can look step by step and see if it gets it right. So begin at the bottom left area, okay, where you enter, where the arrow is pointing upward, evaluate which color was, okay, it's just giving hypothetical, avoid. Okay, so now maybe this is the one. Start from the bottom arrow and identify one minimal crossing side. It didn't give the solution. So I will actually ask it for the actual tracing of that line or that path. So I just wrote, I need the actual solution based on the image. So let's see how it responds now. It just gave me the concepts, the ways, the ideas, which I don't really need. I'm asking it to solve the problem and not to explain it or give me means to solve it myself. Okay, so it's analyzing the image. So start from the bottom arrow, left side. You begin just below the horizontal blue wall line near the bottom. There appear to be, okay, twin main horizontal colored lines near the bottom, one red and one blue. Okay, so the accessibility and simplest first crossing at the bottom is the blue line. First crossing, move straight up from the start arrow and cross that bottom horizontal blue line to enter the grid. Then inside the grid middle section, after crossing into the main area, you must avoid crossing any additional blue lines. So it got the limitation. You will see a vertical red and blue lines alternative side. Okay, this means that you should navigate around the blue vertical line using the rectangular blocks and open spaces as guides. Move upwards slightly to the right, weaving around the blocks. The goal is in the middle section is to find a place to cross a red line. Okay, so look at it. So let's go to the solution as it describes. We need to go here, the midsection, we need to continue to go through the blue line. I think this is what it was talking about. So let's see if it covers this kind of, U-turn. I think this is the trick, this kind of U-turn, and then going back through the red to the exit. So let's go back to the answer. Second, crossing the red one, cross the chosen red line once. Now you have used your red crossing. From this point on, you cannot cross another red line. Another crossing, that's okay. So approach the top arrow. Okay, in the top portion, find an open route through the rectangular block that lead to the arrow. There should be a corridor of sort that doesn't require you to pass through another colored line. Okay, and sorry, it didn't actually give me the solution. I don't know if it should be multimodal. I'll ask it to create an image. I don't know if it will do that. With the solution. Let's see what we get. So let me do that. I'm just asking for an image where it shows the traced lines. I don't think it will it give me that? No. Okay, I don't have the ability to upload or display new images here. Okay, so it's still not full-fledged multimodal as a model. You know, so I will not put this as a negative. I don't know if it was my prompting, but it definitely didn't give a solution per se. I thought the image is fairly clear. Now, if you look in the demo, actually Sam and his team actually use some kind of graphic to interact with the model. I think this is clear enough, at least for it to give a step-by-step description, like, you know, move around the middle block on the left, top block, go this way until the end. Like, it can give a description to solve the problem. It didn't do that. So I'll leave the judgment for this one to you. Okay, and this is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something interesting out of it. Do you have access to the Plus? Are you paying for the Pro yourself? And if you do so, please tell me what do you think about the test. Did you run any of them on your own? Write me a comment in the comment section if you did that. And hey, if you found value in this video, you enjoyed it, just found it fun, or anything else, do not forget to consider subscribing to this channel, liking this video, and maybe sharing it with someone who might find it equally beneficial or fun to watch. And with this, thank you and goodbye.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. Give me the mic.